Sports and video games have had a rough relationship over the past few years. It seems like every series has been getting its worst game ever recently. They've always been shameless cash grabs with sidestep upgrades with every iteration. Now with the ability to patch, games have been shipping broken, despite the fact it's the same thing as last year. Worst of all, the most popular game modes are riddled with microtransactions, just to feed off of the gambling addiction of kids who have their parents' credit cards. In my opinion, a good sports game can be taken two ways: full simulation or full arcade, which is something a lot of games don't do. MLB checks the simulation part, but arcade sports games have been pretty dead. There's a reason why best sports racing game just feels like best racing game at the Game Awards. Gone are the days of NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. Along with those, a bright spot in the genre has always been the Mario sports games. Everybody loves Mario Golf, tennis, and baseball. When I think of the pinnacle of arcade sports, one developer comes to mind.
Oh, next level game!
Their trilogy of sports games are the most fun I've had in the genre. Those games being Mario Strikers Charged, Super Mario Strikers, and their first one, NHL Hitz Pro. Hitz Pro itself being the third in a trilogy of arcade hockey games published by Midway. Their hockey NBA Jam. While I can't speak for the other two, Pro laid the groundwork for Mario Strikers. The overall design philosophy of those games can be found here. I've always wanted to talk about Strikers on this channel, but it would be a disservice to Next Level to ignore Hitz. But before I really jump into it, don't worry, this isn't going to be a sponsorship. Check the sub count. At the time of upload, I am not cool enough for that. I just have to talk about this game's tutorial. It does a good job of teaching you the mechanics. Where it shines are in these moments after you complete them.
Soft chip is an important part of the game. It helps to alleviate all types of pressure when direct passes aren't available. The type of soft chip is best down the wall. It's obviously tough to pick off the wall. It helps to gain speed in an attack while the opponent has a tough time defending the puck. Okay, let's talk about the short dump in NHL Hitz.
So, yeah, they decided to take hockey players, people who are notoriously bad at post-game interviews, and stuck them in front of a green screen and zoomed in way too much. This isn't a tutorial. It's a comedy show.
Passing for me as a defenseman is really important to start the offense going, and we just try to make a long, hard pass to the forward so they can go the opposite way.
I don't know why they did this guy so dirty. This feels like me in my Mario 64 video. NHL Hitz Pro is arcade hockey at its finest. Everyone skates fast, hits hard, and shoots rockets. As for rules, there are none, except like 3. Icing, the goalie can cover the puck to stop play, and fighting is fine. This is the rule set by default. You can change it if you want to, but you're just making the game less fun. That, combined with the game's speed, leads to a fun experience, especially because goalies barely exist in this game. They're basically every human goalie you've ever played with in World of Chell. Sometimes it feels like they're making more of an effort to get out of the puck's way instead of actually stopping it.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
The games are high scoring, fast paced, and frantic. The type of game a coach would hate, but it would be so fun to see live. That alone isn't why I love this game. It kind of has a rock, paper, scissors aspect to it. As the puck carrier, you can do a few things. You can spin, try to dangle, get rid of the puck, or just try to skate away. As the defender, you can hit, poke check them, block a shot or pass, or try to force them into the boards. Each one of those things counters and gets countered by something else. Hit beats dangle, spin beats hit, poke check beats spin, and dangle beats poke check. So every time you're engaged with the opponent and you're committed to keeping the puck, you have to read them to figure out what's best for you to do. This hockey game has neutral. That part of the moment-to-moment gameplay is so fun. It adds to the experience when your hits obliterate guys and there's no rules by default. Something I found endlessly funny is that you can hit the goalie when he's covering the puck and he'll lose it and you can just score off of that chance. Fighting in this game does more than it does in Chell games. it just regains energy for the winning team, which is lame. Here, it supercharges your team, which is hype. Guys are literally on fire, and their shots become even more explosive. It's just fun. Every choice in this game is made so it's more exciting to play. I tried NHL 04 to have a standard to compare it to, and holy shit was it night and day. It is slow and boring. I don't know what I was expecting from a 20-year-old shell game, but it's just not fun. These games were released days apart too. I feel so bad for anyone who went to pick up a hockey game around that time and decided on Shell 04 over Hitz Pro. Hitz has all of the game modes required from a hockey game at the time. There was just no reason to pick a Shell game from that gen over it. It's just proof that arcade sports games are better than the shit EA puts out. Hitz design philosophy is that a bombastic match is more fun, and one-on-one moments should be rock, paper, scissors. Now, how did they transfer all of that to Super Mario Strikers? Strikers takes how Hitz handles one-on-one encounters and changes it up a bit. First off, they remove the spin because being invulnerable and taking a defender out of the play is kind of broken. More so here because there are less people on the field. A well-timed counter could heavily tilt the field towards the attacker. There is a way to take a defender out, but it's more balanced. I'll get to it later. Instead, we're left with getting around the defender via deking or sprinting, and you can always just get rid of the ball. The defender's options are very similar to the philosophy that was in Hitz. They can play the body to hit the attacker. This is full contact soccer, by the way. Hockey is in this game's blood. Or you can play the ball and do this game's version of the poke check, a slide tackle. A well-timed slide tackle knocks over the attacker and has a chance to steal the ball. If you don't do it well, you still take them out, but you won't get the ball. They will recover quicker from a slide tackle than they would a body check. It also doesn't hit them as far. When approaching someone with the ball, you have to decide, do I want to take them out of the play or take control of the play? Especially because when you hit someone with possession, the ball could go flying. If you buy the invisible electric boards, you can hit them into it and it will take them out of the play for longer. I should probably mention that. The boards are here to keep the ball in the field and play going. It would be so boring if play had to stop because somebody got hit and the ball rolled out of bounds. Most importantly, it will shock players who are hit into it. I don't think I can name many sports games where it sounds like people are dying. Jesus Christ, I am sorry, Peach. Another option players have to use against their opponents are items. There's 14, but like 5 of them are just big versions of smaller items. There are 2 ways of getting them. A, if a player gets hit without the ball, because there has to be some punishment to hitting someone illegally. And why remove someone from play when you can just give the player who was interfered with an explosive? The only ways you can hit someone who doesn't have the ball without giving them an item is to hit them with the ball or use an item. 2, items can be rewarded for good shots. The game is kind of like, oh shit, you were able to fully charge up a shot without getting hit or exploded? Take an item. Items are a comeback mechanic, so you will be getting worse ones if you're winning by a lot. But even the small ones can be helpful to slap a defender off of you. While the game did remove one counter from Hitz, I believe the addition of items does a great job of providing the attacker a way to defend themselves. Them being given out as a reward for your actions or punishment for the other team's actions makes them the best implementation out of any Mario sports game. When losing a defender can be so disasterific, it's better that that chance is given via a reward or a punishment, instead of it being built into everyone's kit. Let's say you're in a situation where you are going to lose a foot race to the ball and you're right beside the guy. You have to decide if hitting them illegally and giving them an item is better than giving them the ball. Risk, meet reward. Oh wait, they've been sitting on their items and can't get any more? Boy, that's an unpunishable crime right there. I love that sitting on your items opens your team up to being pushed around more. And now there's no reward for taking a good shot that doesn't go in. It forces players to keep using items, creating more chaos. In Mario Kart, the choice is, do I want to try to get something better than a banana and risk getting a coin? Here, it's, if I don't use this, I am getting bullied and rewarded less. Anyways, let's say you've gotten past the defender and put yourself in a scoring position. there's a couple things you can do. You can try to score. If you charge up a shot in front of the goalie and hit him with it, it will discombobulate him, leading to a pretty easy goal if you're able to pick up the rebound. You can pass the ball and do a one-timer, either on the ground or in the air. A clean pass can become a perfect pass. It's the game's way of telling you that you made a good pass and you are in a very good scoring opportunity. There's a green streak that indicates when it happens. After you click B, time slows down as the player goes for the one-timer. It's basically every game-winning goal from every sports movie ever. It's visually fun and does a great job of keeping players on edge. Or if you're the team's captain, you can do a fully charged shot and get off a super strike. If the player is able to hit B within the green spots on this meter, they can get 2 goals for the price of 1. Timing the first one increases the size of the second one. The second one actually determines if it's a goal or not. So if you fuck up the first one but hit the second one, you're good. If you time each one in the green area, you do a perfect strike. It's the exact same thing, but with a longer animation, and the goalie catches the ball and launches into the net. It's funny. I don't know why they left it as a visual thing and didn't make it 3 goals. But it isn't just a free shot at 2 goals. Depending on how badly you mess up, a few things can happen. The goalie can be stunned, causing a rush to the ball. The goalie can catch it, giving the other team possession, or deflect it back to the shooter. He turns the ball into a homing missile, and it hurts. The only way you're avoiding that is if you get someone else between you and the ball and it fucks them up instead. I like how this game has 3 scenarios where you can use the ball to give another player brain damage. That being to avoid the super strike reflection, as just mentioned, shooting the ball into the defender to remove them from play, as mentioned earlier, or jumping in front of a shot to save a goal, as mentioned in this line. Although that last one is more so centered around giving yourself brain damage. Scott Sterling is all over the place in this game. Lastly, there's Bowser time. He wasn't invited to play soccer, so he's just going to show up to ruin everyone else's fun just by fucking shit up. He can charge into people, throw items, and breathe fire. It's the game at its most chaotic. That's about it for the gameplay. But how does the roster look? There's 9 playable captains, 5 types of players, and 4 sidekicks. 2 captains and 1 sidekick fit into each category. Each one prioritizes a type of play: offensive, playmaker, aggressive, and balanced. The 5th category is reserved for the super team. They're a team of robots and all of them are able to do the super strike. They're also the best characters in the game. You unlock them by beating the Bowser Cup. For game modes, this is where it's a little light on content. There isn't a whole lot to do in single player outside of the cups, which are tournaments against AI opponents. Even with playing with friends, there isn't a whole lot to do. It's a weird side effect of this gameplay being so solid. Normally games will have a GM mode to give a fuckload of content to players. That would be really weird in a Mario sports game though. Sidekicks kind of feel underdeveloped. The stages seemingly only have cosmetic differences. There isn't a whole lot of content, but I don't care because this game slaps. The art, God tier. The vibe, God tier too. The attitude in this game is perfect. After 2 sports games that try their best to make matches fun and bombastic as all hell, I feel like Next Level set themselves up to make a masterpiece for their next game. So normally this is where I would say a line that ends with Mario Strikers Charged and then cut it off at the end and go into the transition screen. Even when I'm sitting here recording this video, I'm still not sure if it's going to be 1 or 2 parts. It's the longest script I've written so far, and I won't know until I get to editing it. If it is 2 parts, I'll abruptly cut